Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Brokerpreneur podcast. I am Dr. Ben Spears, the ambassador of sneezing this morning.
Yep. I can attest to that.
I am here with the big guy, as always, Matt Vi. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing fantastic, Dr. Ben Spears, and I'm glad you're over the sneezing fit. That was like a 5-minute sneezing fit.
I know that was crazy. And guys, I just want to let you know, my homie here, he said bless you every single time. Ain't no give up. Ain't no give up in Matt. He's going to bless me.
I'm broken that way. I'm a broken person when it comes to that.
Yeah, and I love that. So, Matt, we got a killer podcast lined up for today.
Yep.
Gosh, the next few podcasts.
Absolutely.
I love all the topics that are coming up.
They're going to be so helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. And today, I'm gonna start by letting everybody know that I got my sons some metal detectors, and we've been going to the beach. They're 8 and 10. We've been going to the beach and digging up a bunch of pull tabs and bottle caps and that kind of thing.
Right.
And we're gonna dig into some stuff today.
Nice.
we're gonna say, do you really want to dig into being a broker, a recruiting broker, just a recruiter?
Yep.
The person that make sure that the Keurig cups
right
are always.
Are you the trainer? What are you, selling broker? What are you focused on? Yeah.
That's exactly right. But before we do that, guys, wherever you listen to us, hit that follow button, that subscribe button. There's no better time than the present than to go to brokerpreneurpodcast.com, sign up for our weekly newsletter. We would absolutely love to have you part of the Brokerpreneur family and community, and send you weekly recruiting information along with some funny videos and that kind of stuff every single week as well.
Mm-hmm.
So Matt,
yeah,
we did a podcast, way back,
right back in the day.
I think it was called Know Thyself, something along the lines of that. And that's kind of a precursor to what we're actually going to be talking about today. Why don't you refresh everybody a little bit about, know thyself and that kind of thing? Yeah,
so you got to be honest with yourself with what you are good at and what resources you have and all that kind of stuff to ensure that you know what your people are actually getting.
Yes.
Right? So if you are a great trainer, that doesn't mean that you're a great recruiter. And if you're a great recruiter, that doesn't mean that you're really good at selling and all of that, right?
Yep.
So number one is, what are you good at? And then you have to understand what your brokerage needs, right? Are you able to provide that? Because a lot of people are like, I don't want to spend the money to hire someone to train, so I'm just going to do the training too. And the training is actually, in that situation, sometimes counterproductive, right? You're not as good at it as somebody else would be. Your heart's not in it the same way as a broker, because maybe you just love to sell, right?
Yeah.
And maybe you're a natural recruiter, right? And you're just good. Okay. So the first things first, go back and listen to that podcast, know who you are. We're going to touch on a little things as we go through today, but just kind of have an understanding of who you are and what resources you have available, so that you know what your company needs and what it's getting and who's able to deliver it to them.
Yeah, and guys, you can pause the podcast if you're at this point, but maybe you've listened to it before. If you've been a listener for a long time, I'll go back to the archives, we'll say, and I'll find that podcast, and then I'll put the title of it in the description.
You need like a creaking door sound right now.
Ghosts coming out. Know thyself. I'm the ghost of recruiting past.
It's Ghost with the most on Space Ghost.
So, but today we're going to go about talking about the how.
Yeah,
right. And then the first part of that, it's kind of like doomsday, right? It's like we gotta look at our resources.
That's right.
Right. Like, okay, yeah. The shit hit the fan,
right?
Whatever.
He didn't say shift that time. If you listen to the other podcast, he didn't say the shift.
4 podcasts ago, I didn't say shift. The shift hits the fan, and you're taking a look, and you're saying, okay, well this is what I got to work with.
Yep.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So know what you have, right? Okay. So that's the big ones, of course. What are the tools and systems? Are you in a franchise system where they offer a whole bunch of stuff?
Yeah.
That doesn't matter if you're not using it, by the way.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so a lot of people pay, or their agents pay, a percentage of whatever it is for a friend, and then they don't use 3/4 of whatever it is.
Yep.
And they sit back as a broker and they say, well, none of my agents use that stuff, so that's really not doing me any good. Yeah. That's not on the agents.
Yeah.
Okay, that's on the broker, right? that broker is not, maybe that broker's not great at, convincing people what they need to use in their business. Maybe they're not coaching people, all that kind of stuff. So know your tools, know your systems, all that kind of stuff. Know what you have available. Know what kind of money you have to spend on things. Okay, let's be real about that, right?
Yep.
So your resources, one of your resources, of course, is money. One of them is time. How much time do you have to spend on things? But you need to, money and time, you need to take a real close look at those on a regular basis. Don't let those get away from you.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of people will sit down and they'll start recruiting and they'll start doing the things they need to, and they dig in for 1 or 2 days. We've talked about this, and they follow up and all that kind of stuff. And then on one of their transactions, a sale blows up.
Yeah.
There are a lot of brokers out there, and this is completely okay because it's the reality of things, right? Yep. They're more comfortable working on fixing that deal than they are fixing the things in their brokerage.
Yes. Completely
okay.
Yep.
However, if growth is what you're trying to accomplish, and if the market really is shifting, which it is,
yep.
If all of those things are happening, you better get your head wrapped around exactly how to make the most of your situation with what you know and with what you can do and with what you're good at, because you're going to have to grow. Yeah. You're going to have to add some profitability in other ways. Other than company dollar from commissions, you need to be paying attention to that as well, right? So you have to look at your resources. You have to look at what it is that you have available. Okay, what is it that you need, and how well do those two things match up?
Yeah.
Okay. It's really hard to look at what you need and go, I can fix something, if you don't look at what you have, because then you go out and start buying shit.
Yeah. No,
right?
absolutely.
This is my problem. I know I need to fix this problem, so I'm going to go out and buy this. Right. That's why we do the recruiting assessment. Right. So somebody says, oh, Matt, I need this many people, or I need coaching, and my staff needs this and that and the other. I'm like, great. I'd love to get money from you. Right.
Right.
Okay. But taking a step back, we go, okay, let's look at the recruiting assessment.
Yeah.
What do you have in place? What are you doing already? What needs to be done from here? That way you're not wasting money and spending it on things that you're not going to leverage the way that you need to.
Yes.
All of that begins with defining the resources and then taking a look at your needs.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of those resources too, before we move on just briefly, aren't always tangible. Right. Your resources also include your skill set and your mindset. How many times have we had brokers? Because, we always preach things. We always preach that, recruiting is not a numbers game. It's number one rule. Right. But it's not a numbers game. It's all about relationships. Right. And so a lot of our brokerpreneurs out there who are listening, they don't love making cold calls all the time.
Right.
Right. They want to like lead. They want to lead with value. They want to build relationships. They want things to kind of happen organically, which is everything that's right. We preach in all of our coaching and our Brokerpreneur Fast Track and all that kind of stuff. But you make a good point there. They go out there and start buying things, and it's like, you can't be a relationship based company. We've said this several times. But then paying for things to recruit for you as if you're a numbers-based company.
How many times have we taken over from another company that was doing that? Right?
Absolutely.
So somebody else was using a company that whatever, and it was just smile and dial, and it wasn't working, and then they come to us and they're like, oh man, this is more me, right? Yeah. The reason why is because the broker wants to recruit the way they want to be treated.
Yes. Exactly.
And they want to attract people. That's right. They want to attract people that look at things the same way they do. That means it has to be relationship. That means it has to be relationship based. So yeah, that's a really good point, Ben.
Yeah. And so we look at we defined our resources. Now it's almost like let's take a step forward, but let's also take a step back at the same time, and let's look at our goals. Right. We want to look at our goals and say, all right, like, this is who I am. This is kind of broker I am. This is the role that I'm playing. I have these resources, available to me. Now let's look at our goals and see, how do we move forward? What's missing? How do we close the gaps, essentially?
Yep. So think about when you were setting your goals as the broker, talking to our people in podcast land out there. When you were setting your goals this year, did you sit down and go, okay, I need this many sales, I need this many transactions, I need this to happen, that to happen, the other? Or did you step back and go, okay, you know what I need? I need more training classes.
Yes.
Yeah. How many training classes do I need? I need to get my current agents more productive. I need to get coaching in place. I need to do whatever. So a lot of people went, oh, okay, I want to do all of these things. Know thyself, right?
Right.
Okay. When you were doing all of those, which one were you most comfortable with when you were setting those goals? Which one do you feel like you had the resources best for? Which one do you think that you wanted to be able to focus on the most?
Yeah. Oh, okay? Absolutely.
So you need to understand when you were setting your goals, which one did you feel most excited about?
Yeah.
Not that you've got to love doing this or you're going to hate doing that or whatever, but which one were you like when it came to training? Were you like, man, I can't wait to put my training calendar together?
Yeah, it's probably the top one on your list. It's probably the first one you wrote down.
Right.
I really need to do this.
That's exactly
I need to make sure I eat at least 10 pounds of gummy bears this year.
That's exactly right. That's right. Metric kilograms.
Yeah, exactly. and then the goals, if you're not the owner, or even if you are the owner, the goals that someone else wrote for you.
Oh yeah, that's the worst.
Right? Those are the ones that are like, oh, come on.
That's the worst.
I really want to work on those gummy bear ones, but they're telling me to eat broccoli.
Yeah. Yeah, let me if anybody's watching on YouTube, right, they saw my face when you said somebody else wrote your goals.
Hey guys, this podcast is powered by Prospect Boomerang.
We all know broker owners struggle with profitability. Prospect Boomerang compounds your profits by recruiting the best agents to your brokerage.
For consistent growth, visit prospectboomerang.com.
That's exactly what it is. It's someone else's goals.
Yes, exactly.
It has to be your goals. Now, how you get there, the path that you take, has to be owned by you.
Yes.
They can say, hey, I own the company. You need to recruit this many people, right? But if you're going to succeed at it and you don't look at things the exact same way that they do, they can't say, this is how many people we need. This is what you have to do every day. You do these 3 things and you do this and you do this and you do this, and then you're going to win and succeed at it. If that's not how you're wired, you can have all of that set up all you want, and it's not going to work.
100%.
So that's why whenever you look at your resources that you have available, you look at what goals you set and everything. Okay, how do I get there? So here's a prime example. Let's say that you're a selling broker and you're good at being a selling broker. Okay.
Yep.
But you know that you need to recruit because that's your goal or someone else's goal that was set for you, right? Don't you think that you need to be paying attention to co-ops and recruit through co-ops if that's the case?
Yeah.
I mean, this seems so crystal
like
clear
it
to
makes
me.
sense, right?
But whenever I talk to people, they just don't get it, right? It's like they completely compartmentalize those two things. Okay, if you like to sell, if you're good at it, if you have great relationships as you go through the sales, why are you not compounding that with your recruiting?
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. It should be part of your PM.
That's exactly right. That should be at the top of the list. Hey, I like to sell. I'm good at it. I'm doing great with it. I also have to recruit. How do I recruit through my selling?
Yes.
Right.
And what do they call that? It's like you've talked about this before. Combining something you love with something that you hate, like
stacking.
Stacking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's stacking. You need to if you love selling and you hate recruiting, then you need to make a sandwich, right?
Yeah.
Stack it. So do selling, do recruiting in the middle, and then do some more selling stuff.
Yeah.
But you just need to be intelligent about how you do that, and then that'll allow you to get a different result.
Yeah, and so being intelligent about those things and knowing like, okay, these are the goals that I've set, these are the goals someone else set for me, but now I know I can actually accomplish those by doing the things that I like doing or enjoy doing or can tolerate doing.
Right.
Then you need to kind of like the step first of the 12 steps or whatever. I won't say like maybe you have a problem, but look at your current situation.
Right.
Where are you right now?
Yep.
And I would say attach no emotion to that.
Right.
Right. Like don't say, well, gosh, I'm here. I got so far to go. Or even if you're pretty close, there's not too much left to do, right? Because you don't want to get complacent either.
Right.
Right. Just look at your current situation, where you are, and you may even need to go back to your goals. Mm-hmm. Right. And if you got 3 agents, maybe 100 is a stretch.
Right.
Right. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you how did you get into this role is what you're talking about. How did you actually get from where you were to where you are right now?
Yep.
Okay. So let me give a couple examples, right? So were you mentoring people? And the broker came to you and said, hey, listen, in 5 years, 7 years, I'm going to be selling, I'd love what you're doing, mentoring and everything. Have you ever thought about purchasing the company? Right. Yeah. And you're like, okay, well, I like sales and I like mentoring. And the broker tells you, oh yeah, brokering's the same thing. Which it's not.
I didn't go in there before.
That's right. But it's absolutely components of it, but it ain't the same. It's the same, but different. So, but you're like, yeah, well, maybe I could. And then, 3 years later, 4 years later, you're ending up in that role. You bought the company, whatever. But the mentoring and the selling that attracted you to it, for some reason, you're not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
Right? How did you get to the current place that you are right now? right? Were you great at training and you're like, okay, I'd like to be a broker that trains? You great at coaching, and or were you great at sales and like, okay, if I had 3 or 4 other people, I can go hang my own shingle and get 3 or 4 other people, and they can pay for my overhead if I just get a little company dollar for them, and then I get to keep 100% of my money, right? Yeah. However you ended up where you are right now, you have to take a serious look at that and realize that how you ended up in that role might have excited and motivated you, but it might not have been realistic about what was actually going to happen when you stepped into that role. Yeah. So what are the missing pieces? Okay. So what is it that convinced you to be the broker, be the recruiter, be whatever role you have? What convinced you to do that? And now what do you need to do in order to fill in those gaps of what needs to happen at a brokerage that aren't happening?
Yeah.
So why did you get into that role, and then what's missing?
What's missing? Gotcha. So, we've assessed our resources, right? We've taken a look at our goals. We now know, how and why we got to where we are right now. Mm-hmm. And that leads us to, the last thing that we're going to talk about. And this is essentially could be the last the last thing that you talk about on any list.
Right.
Which is define and start taking action.
Absolutely. You got to be Kaizen about it, right? Start taking those small steps, whatever they are daily. Okay. Yeah. So if you're a selling broker, you need to recruit more, you're going to do it through co-ops. Take small steps. Don't create some 38-step action plan that is just too difficult to do every day, because remember, you're a selling broker first. You like that the most. The other thing that taking small steps allows you to do daily is, let me talk about small steps for just a second, and then I'll talk about why making small steps makes a difference when it comes to hiring someone else.
Sure thing.
But hiring someone else for the role.
Right.
When you're taking those small steps, it allows you to be comfortable with those steps. Okay. It allows you to look at those steps differently. It also allows you to make adjustments in those steps. Okay. The other thing that it allows you to do is it allows you to hold on to what you liked doing. The thing that people are most afraid of is, if I don't take some big, huge action right now, I'm not going to get the results that I want.
Right. Okay? Oh, for sure.
So let's talk about that cycle for just a second. You step off the cliff, you take big action, everything goes the way that it's supposed to, but then however much later, you're back into the same old cycle because you just could not maintain that big step that you took.
Yeah.
Okay. Or do you take small steps and just be a little bit more patient and end up getting to where you wanted to go in order to completely have changed things?
Right.
Very seldomly do you take the big step and then just continue walking on the path from there.
Right.
Okay. It's just too hard.
Yeah.
Instead, what you have to do is you have to take small steps. If you want to recruit, do you have a training program for whenever people come in the door, right? One of the things we hear all the time from people is, I don't want any new agents. I want experienced agents because I don't want to do any training. Okay.
Yeah.
That's an issue. Experienced agents want training also. It's just the training they want is different.
Yeah.
And so you have to be able to do all of that. That all has to be in place. That doesn't mean it has to be a 96, binder training program,
exactly.
right?
Today we're going to need the blue binder.
That's exactly right. That's not what you need to or have to do.
Right.
But you have to be able to take those steps. So don't think that taking a huge step is automatically going to get you where you want to go, because the truth is, so many times we take a huge step and then a week and a half, 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, we're back exactly where we started and backpedaled because it was too much of a step. It was too big of a step. It was too big of a deal.
Yeah.
So instead, take small steps and make adjustments. Now, here's the first part of what I started talking about.
Okay.
So at some point, you want somebody to kind of take over with a lot of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're taking these small steps, it's real easy to write them down and record them and remember them and do them a certain way. If all of your steps are these big, huge steps, okay, today I've got to make 45 calls, okay, because I need to hit my goal and I need to be wherever. Okay, well, today and tomorrow and the next day, maybe you make 45 calls. The day after that, you're not going to. Well, if you hire someone else, do they want to make those 480,000 calls? Absolutely. And so what you have to do is you have to figure out a small step way of doing this, which is what we've done, right? Small, easy step way of doing things. That's going to allow you to be able to hand that playbook to someone else.
Yes.
And so you're not asking them, hey, jump off this cliff. You're just saying, hey, can you do these 3 things today?
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you're taking small steps, it allows you to kind of clarify those and put those in place so it makes it easier and more digestible.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to summarize a little bit.
Okay.
Right? So You want to define your resources, right? Go back and listen to the Know Thyself podcast. I'll try and find it in the archives and put the title of it and the episode number in the description below. But once you know thyself, we're talking about the how, right? Define your resources. Look at your goals. Look at your current situation. How you got there. Excuse me, and why you're there in the first place. And then, then start defining and actually taking those little steps in the direction that are going to lead you there, but not get you burnt out.
That's right.
Essentially. And eventually, you don't want to be the person who's just, recruiting for your brokerage every single day, the absolute rest of your life. You're going to want to be able to train somebody and, and taking those steps in an incremental Kaizen sort of way is going to allow you to pass that on and to 5, 10, 20, 50, 100 people, however many
That's
you
right.
want recruiting for you.
Exactly.
Depending on how big you want to grow your brokerage. So guys, apologize, my voice and everything. I don't know, the allergies just killed me today for some reason. But wherever you're listening to this, hit that, whether it be iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Deezer, hit that follow button. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit that red subscribe button, that bell right beside it. You get notified every time we drop a new episode. Please go to Prospect Boomerang if you are a company that values relationships and you don't want to do your recruiting in a numbers way. Gosh, we would just absolutely love to have you part of our community and teach you how to go from where you are to actually becoming a true brokerpreneur. So
Ben, I got to say something before you. I hate to bust in the middle of this.
You're good,
I got to say something.
Bust it out, man.
Right. If you are recruiting from a numbers standpoint, and you're doing things that are just numbers based, right? They know they're getting 96 calls from you. They know that somebody's dialing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right. If that's what you do, then that's what they're going to expect when they show up. If you do things from a relationship standpoint, then when that agent shows up, that's what they're going to be expecting. Yeah. So when we talk about know thyself, if you're just about, hey, I want to hire you, I want you to come in, I want you to do your numbers, you do your thing, I'm going to do my thing, you'll get a portion of whatever, and we're all just going to skip off into the sunset. I love that if that's who you are. What we talk about is you having continuity between your recruiting processes and who you actually are as a company.
Yeah.
That's the big difference between the two. If you're just a numbers company, if that's all it is, then you should recruit from just a numbers standpoint. Right? Don't slow down with any relationships, anything along that line, just go get them, Tiger. Right? But if you're about supporting the agent, if you're about the relationship, if you want a longer life cycle of the agent being there and all those things, absolutely, if you're relationship based, then that's how you need to recruit. That's what we're saying. And
yes.
We talk about it all the time. I want to make sure that we're super, and I know you were being, but I want to make sure we're super crystal clear about that. If you're numbers based, go get them, Tiger.
Yep.
And that's how you should recruit.
100%.
If you're relationship based, and you want to attract that type of people, then that's how you have to recruit. Yeah. You can't be absent or opposite one or the other.
Yeah, because you'll never grow.
That's right.
Right, because if you recruit one way and they come and you're a different way, then they're going to leave because they came there for that reason. So, yeah, guys, go to prospectboomerang.com. Click on services or prospect or fast track or brokerpreneur services overview at the top. And take a look at all the things that we have. We have a program that fits whatever size brokerage that you are, and we would just absolutely, like I said, love to have you be part of the family. Matt.
And whatever budget.
Yeah, whatever.
And they're all guaranteed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we win if you win.
That's right.
Right. So Matt.
Yep.
Throw us an action item.
Bam.
Then we'll talk about winning.
Yep. So what do you need the most in your brokerage? Okay, so take a step back and really look. Do you need more agents? Do you need more transactions per agent? You need a higher per person productivity? Do you need to reduce your office space and get more people in a smaller space? Yeah. Do you need more training and coaching? If I didn't say that already, do you need your back office to run more smoothly? Right. Yeah. What is it that is your accounting a mess and people are pissed because they're not getting paid on time? Right. Yeah. I mean, what is it that you need to do that is going to make an impact that's going to make it easier for you to grow? What are the obstacles in your growth? Slow down a little bit, step back, take a real look at that, think it through, and take baby steps on that until that's fixed. Yeah. Period.
Yeah, I love it. Well, guys, you can take baby steps on a whole bunch of different things, right? and we can hold your hand. Yep. We can hold your hand through those baby steps and teach how to walk on your own. But we really do that and this podcast for one reason and one reason alone. Tell them why that is, Matt.
Because we want to be part of their win.